Welcome. Clearing the the wheel, running mind. So once we do the healing journey, releasing emotion is working with the pain body, this cloudy energy field. We can say it's a more feminine healing journey. The masculine way of healing is to tame the mind. It's what people talks about, like silencing the mind, like doing silent meditation and just watching the thought passing. Because the mind is a program that is running all the time. Those thought patterns or loops, they go out and they come back in. Sometimes we can also send a thought pattern elsewhere towards like a request to the universe. Sometimes a thought can go to a specific chakra, like from the third eye to the sacral. There's loops happening all the time in our energy field because it's this bubble, this torus field, right? That is linked to like the positive. It's a battery and negative. So it's always like there's loops. It can be the bigger loop, but there's smaller loops inside of that. So we don't need to clear all those thought patterns, those programs, but there are some that are not good for ourselves. Most of them that we need to clear are about the future. So like the pain body, the trapped emotion, get us stuck in the past, right? We're relieving all the initial trap emotion of the past, this chain reaction that it's always the same pattern. And then the running mind, it's more about the future. It's about expecting. It's about projecting. It's about fantasizing. It's about dreaming, which is good to some extent. But if it gets out of the present moment all the time, then we're not really living life. So we need to be aware of those thought patterns. So the best practice for this is to do a silent meditation, at least 30 minutes, where we focus only on the breath. If we would focus on a chakra, then we would be feeling maybe more energy, feeling more even emotion moving. The chakras would start activating because where attention goes, energy goes, right? So by focusing on the breath, only like the air coming in and out of the nose, we focus on the bigger triangle here. We keep all the attention there, and that's what they teach in the Vipassana 10-day silence retreat, right? Then we are having our attention that is not really stuck to bound into like a specific energy field. Therefore, like we can focus more on the thought patterns. And we observe the thoughts. They are like a highway passing by. And then we let them in and out. So on this highway, there's a blue car passing. Interesting, right? Again, we are an inspector. We're observing. Then there's a red truck passing by. Interesting. And maybe like 15 minutes later, the red truck is passing by again. It's the second time that there's a red truck passing by. Well, I take a mental note. And then after my meditation, I take my journal and I'm going to start listing those patterns that I noticed. Well, there's this red truck that passes through time. Maybe I don't understand why right now. So because I noted down, during that day, during that week, the universe is going to give me some insight, some downloads about this specific request, right, that I noted in my journal. While you're doing so, you might have some thought patterns that are linked to trap emotion of the past, right? Or things that you didn't process that week. But for this practice here of clearing the hamster wheel of the future, let's try to focus on what are the thoughts that are linked to expectation, to dreaming, to fantasizing, things that are keeping us ahead instead of in the present moment. And once I pick up a thought, I journal about it, then I can start asking, is this a loop? Yes. Okay. This loop pattern, is it coming out of my third eye? Yes. Is it coming out of affecting also my crown? No. My throat. Is it coming out of my third eye and moving to another chakra? Yes. Okay. Is it going to my heart? Oh, okay. Yes. And I'm getting information here. More and more, I'm getting information. More and more, I understand it. And for me, the way I clear those loops is through just, again, using the mind as a tool of creation in the etheric world. So I close my eyes, I bring my attention in the heart center, I make sure that I'm well centered, and I visualize this loop, some kind of a cord passing from my third eye to the heart. And then I take this cord with my hand and I rip it apart. I just rip it apart. And that's it. Rip it apart, and then you move out this energy, and then you have this intention to give it back to Mother Earth. Because again, Mother Earth is that uncontrolled love consciousness. She's able to recycle our negative energy. And that's it. You can even ask after, did I clear that loop? Yes. I know there's people, they are using tuning forks, right? Hitting those vibrations in those loops, make them shake and maybe break. I know there's people using quartz. And the best one would be a clear quartz. So again, I can like visualize the loop and just clear the loops with the quartz. And again, it's mostly the intention. It's mostly like true intention we are creating in the etheric world. Whatever tool that fits your style, but all of them is all about intention and creation of the mind through visualization, imagination. We are manifesting in the etheric world. Sometimes those loops are linked to emotions, so we can also use the emotional code chart. Is this loop is making me feel an emotion? Yes or no? Is it an emotion column A? Column A row 1, 2, 3. Okay. And then I found this specific emotion. So give me more information about that loop. And then if I found an emotion, it doesn't mean that it's a trap emotion. It's just somehow that loop makes me feel that emotion. It's a pattern. It's a program. And maybe even deeper, sometimes it's an addiction to that emotion. And yes, this can be possible. Because each time we live a negative emotion, there's a chemical release happening. And maybe like somehow the body get used to that chemical and is always looking for more. It's some kind of a drug. So I can ask, am I addicted to that negative release, right? Am I addicted to that emotion linked to that loop? Yes or no? So again, we're getting more information. You can also do a reading just for finding your addicted emotion. What are the emotions I'm addicted to? And we take the chart. Column A, okay, row 1, 2. So like this, we can start noting, okay, this is interesting information. And once I start journaling, then I go on with my day, my week, and in the day-to-day, the universe is giving me more information. And I started realizing, bringing more awareness. Another interesting question that is very similar is, what are the top 5 emotions that I live most of the time? I can ask this for the negative emotion, but also for the positive emotion. And then by doing so, I can see what is the main work that I need to do right now, this month. It might be different 3 months from now. This is all type of information that somehow we can start understanding each other, seeing each other differently, seeing our patterns from a different perspective. So all those tiny data points allow us to understand ourselves deeply, and that's the name of the game. So every day we explore, and we don't try to fix ourselves. We are just an inspector, playing, observing, and we are just being interested. Like, I found a new pattern, very interesting, very interesting. And I know that all those research somehow in the future is going to allow me to serve others better. I'm going to be able to heal others faster, which is the name of the game. We're trying to raise our level of polarization towards service to others. Thank you.